Shri Mahadevyai Namaha. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Namaste. In today's video, we shall be hearing the Manidweepa Varnana. Far above Kailasha, Vaikunta and Goloka, the Sarvaloka or Manidweepa glows as an umbrella, casting its protective cover over all of Brahmanda or creation. This is the residence of Devi Bhagavati, in whom the entire creation resides. The description of Manidweepa is given by Maharishi Vedavyasa to King Janamejaya, and it forms a part of chapter 10 to 12 of the Devi Bhagavatam. The mere hearing of the Manidweepa description and imagining the glories of the Devi's abode confers everlasting prosperity and happiness on the Bhakta. Come, let us hear the description and enjoy the bliss of imagining the Devi's abode in our mind's eye. Let us, for a moment, step into that magical island and discover the wonders and beauty of the place. Surrounded by the ocean of nectar or the 𝗧𝗛𝗔𝗡𝗪, which is beautiful with a lot of fish and other aquatic animals that sport, and beaches full of sand, which is basically gem crystals, is the Manidweepa or the island of gems. The Manidweepa is guarded by a very strong, tall iron enclosure with 4 gates, well guarded by Devas and Devis. Come, let us knock on the main door and get entrance. The second enclosure within is made of a white metal, which is an amalgam of zinc, tin and copper. This enclosure contains within it lush gardens and forests with a variety of trees and plants, flowers with intoxicating fragrances, luscious fruits, along with streams of just fruit juices, gregarious animals and birds of staggering variety. Flamingos, swans and other animals play in the rivers. The breeze carries with it the perfumes of flowers. The deer follow this breeze. White peacocks dance with abandon, and the whole place is a charming sight for the eyes. The third enclosure, made of copper, contains within it several 𝗙𝗪𝗔𝗪s, or trees that fulfill all our desires. The leaves are golden, the flowers and fruits yield gems on demand. Here, the king of the spring season reigns along with his wives. Gandharvas reside here, rendering divine music. The fourth enclosure is made of lead, and within it are the Santanaka trees, whose fragrance reaches as far as 10 yojanas, with fresh fruits providing sweet nectar. Here, the king of the summer season reigns with his queens. Many Siddhas and Devas reside and worship the Devi here. The fifth enclosure is made of brass, and within it reigns the king of the monsoon with 12 of his wives. The lightning forms his auburn eyes, the clouds are his armor, the thunder is his voice, and the rainbow is his arrow. The trees here are always seen burdened and entwined with fresh creepers. The Devi Bhaktas who build tanks and reservoirs and provide drinking water to others in their lifetime find place here. Harichandana trees are bound within the fifth enclosure. The sixth enclosure is made of 5 kinds of iron. Within it, mandara trees and creepers grow. Here, the king of autumn season reigns along with his wives. The seventh enclosure is made of silver. Here, the king of 𝗧𝗢𝗘𝗪 reigns with his 2 wives. Parijata is the main tree here. Those who are the bhaktas of Devi and who do Devi's work in their lifetime enjoy the fragrance of these gardens in their afterlife. The 8th enclosure is made of molten gold and kadamba trees grow in abundance here. Many siddhas live here with their wives. The Navavarna or the 9th enclosure is made up of the Pushparaga gemstones, which are saffron in color. All the guardians of the 8 directions or the Dikpalakas reside in the 8 directions of this enclosure, with Lord Indra in the east in Amaravati city on Airavata elephant with his consort Sachi Devi, the 𝗧𝗛𝗔𝗡𝗪 by his side, many apsaras by his side. He reigns in the eastern direction. Agni-deva reigns in the southeast with his 2 wives, Swaha and Swadha. 𝗍𝗢𝗘𝗪 in the south with his Yamadanda. Nirupti in the southwest with his axe and wife representing the Rakshasas. Varunadeva in the west with his wife Varuni with the pasha or the noose in his hand, with the king of fishes as his vahana, and surrounded by aquatic animals. Vayudeva in the northwest with his wife and 49 maruts, along with many yogis. The king of yakshas, Kubera, in the north, along with his shaktis and his generals. Ishana or Rudradeva in the northeast, in the company of Bhadrakalis and Shivaganas. The 10th enclosure is made of Padmaragamani, and within the enclosure are the 64 kalas or arts, each having many hundreds of Akshauhini strong armies, and each of them very powerful aids of the Devi. The 11th enclosure is made of Gomedamani. Within this are the 32 beneficent Mahashaktis like Vidya, Hri, Pushti, Prajna, Huhu, Rudra, Bhadrakali, Nanda, Riddhida, Rudrani, Mahishasuramardhini, Narayani, Trishulini, and others. The 12th enclosure is made of diamonds. Trees, roads, palaces, gardens, musical instruments, and everything there is made of diamonds. This is the dwelling place of goddess Bhuvaneshwari, along with the 8 Shaktis Anangarupa, Anangamadana, Madanantara, Bhuvanavega, Bhuvanapalika, Sarvashishira, Anangavedana and Anangamadana, just the hearing of whose names confers great Shaktis on the listeners. The 13th enclosure is made of Vaidurya. The 8 Matrikas reside here: Brahmi, Maheshwari, Kaumari, Vaishnavi, Varahi, Indrani, Chamunda, and Mahalakshmi reside within the 13th enclosure. The 14th enclosure is made of Indranilamani, or the dark blue sapphire. This is the most auspicious place where a 16-petaled holy lotus is seen with 16 Mahashaktis who reside there. They are Karali, Vikarali, Uma, Saraswati, Shri, Durga, Ushas, Lakshmi, Shruti, Smriti, Dhriti, Shraddha, Medha, Mati, Kanta, and Arya. The 15th enclosure is made of pearls, within which reside the 8 Shaktis. Their duty is to inform the Devi of all the happenings in all of creation. They are skilled in all sciences and arts, and they are very clever and skillful. They know what is in the Devi's mind before she even tells them what to do. They are the ones that take care of the smooth functioning of the entire universe. The 16th enclosure is made of Marakada. This is hexagonal in shape. In the eastern corner is Brahma with Gayatri Devi or Veda Mata. The Vedas, Shastras and Puranas exist in this corner. On the western corner is Mahavishnu and Savitri Devi and Lakshmi Devi. On the northwestern corner is Maharudra and Saraswati with Rudra and Parvati forms. All the Agamas and all the Tantras reside here. On the southeastern side is the abode of Kubera, blessed by Mahalakshmi. On the western corner reside Kamadeva and Rati Devi. On the northeastern side is Ganesha and his consorts. The 17th enclosure is made of Prabhala, which is red like saffron. Here, Devi Bhagavati's 5 elements, that is Hrillekha, Gagana, Rakta, Karalika and Mahochchuchuma reside. The colors and lustres of the bodies of these goddesses resemble those of the elements over which they preside respectively. The 18th enclosure is built with Navaratnas or the 9 jewels with Devi Bhagavati in the center. The Panchamnayas surround her. The eastern Amnaya of creation is symbolized by Mantra Yoga. The southern Amnaya of preservation by Bhakti Yoga. The western Amnaya of destruction by Karma Yoga. The northern Amnaya of Anugraha by Jnana Yoga. And the Urdhva Amnaya of liberation. 10 Mahavidyas, Kali, Tara, Chinnamasta, Bhuvaneshwari, Bhagala, Dhumavati, Matangi, Shodasi and Bhairavi reside here. The avatars of the Devi, Bhuvaneshwari, Pashamkusheshwari, Bhairavi, Kapala, Ankusha and so on also reside here. Now, within the 18th enclosure, we come to the 𝗓𝗤𝗪 or the crown palace, Mahadevi Bhagavati. This is built of Chintamani gems with thousands of pillars studded with Suryamani gems. Within the 𝗓𝗤𝗪 are 4 huge mandapas which are made of a mix of Navaratnas with dazzling lights and each suited to the theme of the halls designated as Shrangara, Mukti, Jnana and Ekanta mandapas. These mandapas are surrounded by lush gardens. There are beautiful lotus tanks surrounding these gardens. The water in these garden ponds are nothing but nectar. Many birds, swans and beautiful animals abound in the garden. In the central portion of the 𝗓𝗤𝗪 is the Sanctum Sanctorum or a raised platform with a plank supported by 4 legs, Pancha Brahmasana Sthitha, one who is seated on an asana which is composed of the 5 Brahmas. The 4 legs of the asana are none else but Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra, Maheshwara, and the plank is Sadashiva himself. On Sadashiva sits Sri Lalita Maha Tripurasundari. How to describe the beauty of Lalita Maha Tripurasundari? Lalita Devi is surrounded by the 3 Shaktis, Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti and Kriya Shakti. She holds the noose, the gourd, the Pundrekshu or the sugarcane bow and the 5 flower arrows in her hands. Her voice is sweeter than the veena and her body is resplendent like 1,000 crore rising suns. Her hair is strung with fragrant flowers and precious ornaments dazzle on every part of her body. There are the Pita Shaktis, the Siddhis, the Veda Mata, and all the important Devatas who surround her at the Chintamani Griha. Devi Bhagavati is simultaneously present in all the mandapas, enjoying the Vedas, hymns of praise, and the music in the Sringara Mandapa, freeing the Jivatma from all bondages and granting them moksha in the Mukti Mandapa, bestowing knowledge in the Jnana Mandapa, administering the universe, consulting with her ministers in the Ekanta Mandapa. Maharshi Vedavyasa assures King Janamejaya, and therefore all of us, that reading, listening, or even trying to imagine in our mind's eye the glories of the Manidweepa and the glories of Devi Bhagavati would provide unlimited contentment, peace of mind, fresh springs of hope, purpose, and direction of life. Especially when new projects are launched, new actions are initiated, and also when apprehensions, obstacles, diseases, tragedies, or even the facing of death has to be overcome. The chanting of Manidweepa Varnana and the hearing of the description is the boon given by the goddess herself to all of us through the Devi Bhagavatam. I hope you enjoyed the recounting of the description of Manidweepa as given in the Devi Bhagavatam in this video segment. Dhanyavadaha.
Gama pama gama ri sa sani sari sa gama pani sa sani pani sani pama ri sa sari gama gama padani sa మహాశక్తి మణిద్వీప నివాసిని ముల్లోకాలకు మూల ప్రకాశిని మణిద్వీపములో మంత్రరూపిణి మన మనసులలో కొలువై ఉంది సుగంధ పుష్పాలెన్నో వేలు అనంత సుందర సువర్ణ పూలు అచంచలంబగు మనోసుఖాలు మణిద్వీపానికి మహానిధులు సాసని పని సని పమగమ రిరిస లక్షల లక్షల లావణ్యాలు అక్షర లక్షల వాక్ సంపదలు లక్షల లక్షల లక్ష్మీపతులు మణిద్వీపానికి మహానిధులు పారిజాతవన సౌగంధాలు సురాధినాదుల సత్సంగాలు గంధర్వాదుల గాన స్వరాలు మణిద్వీపానికి మహానిధులు భువనేశ్వరి సంకల్పమే జనించే మణిద్వీపం దేవదేవుల నివాసము అది ఏ కైవల్యం అది ఏ